Hello and welcome back to From the BLN, the Burnley podcast. This is a rapid reaction to Liverpool 1, Burnley 1 at Anfield. Chris Borden is with me. Julian Jordan was there at Anfield and sent us this very quick video report on the final whistle.
All right, guys, just past final whistle here. One apiece at Anfield. Absolutely brilliant. You can imagine when that Marcus Edwards equaliser went in front of us, the place absolutely erupted. Brilliant atmosphere in the away end, as you'd expect. Pretty sterile in the rest of the ground where all the tourists are. I thought we were worth this point. Defended valiantly at points, and at points we were having to defend the 18-yard box. But it's difficult because they play by different rules here. If you make contact or make a challenge in the last third, they're going to get it every time. I couldn't see the penalty shouts that we had in the first half, but certainly theirs looked as soft as anything I've seen. But really resilient performance, worth a point, and let's hope that means that we turn in a corner. We might make a fight of this yet. Up the Clarets.
Brilliant. Yeah, well, you've got to completely agree. I mean, it is a brilliant result. And if you put it in the context, Chris, for a team that's been written off by many people, including us, let's be honest, they've got draws against Manchester United and Liverpool in this spell of games, and it shows there's some life there yet.
Yeah, like I said, they're still playing for the manager. There's still a spirit, there's character, there's a desire. I say I run around the place like a crazed madman when Marcus Edwards put that away. Lovely ball from Florentino, and as soon as Marcus Edwards gets it on that side on his left foot, I think we knew the end result. But what a finish! But they deserve that, for the second half performance where they were tried to be front foot, tried to be aggressive, they pressed well, restricted Liverpool to next to nothing. I know that a couple cleared off the line, but that's what you're there to do. The defenders are there to defend, to make blocks, to make clearances. Goalkeeper makes saves. I don't think Dubravka had to make a save of any substance. And again, the Liverpool's best route to goal against Burnley has been from the penalty spot, but they couldn't take that this time. I thought that was as Julian alluded to. I thought Gakpo sort of pulls away his knee, feels the contact, pulls away his knee, and collapses to the floor. And then they're always going to give them because there's been contact. But it's as soft as you like, and I think justice was done in the end there. But
contact is allowed. Contact is allowed.
Of course it is.
Is it a foul? It's not a foul, I don't think.
I'm not convinced. But you see some of the decisions you see at the moment just beg a belief. But you just wonder, could we have done that for the duration? Could we have been as aggressive as for the full piece? Because I don't know if you saw the Barnsley game, the Liverpool game in the cup in the week where Conor Hurahan was described Szoboszlai as disrespectful for the back heel that led to the Barnsley goal.
Yeah.
The amount of space Burnley had and I know Liverpool have struggled on the counter this season, but the amount of space we had on the counter second half, you're like, are they bothering picking us up here? It's almost like that. Well, we'll just leave these. They're not capable of hurting us. We'll just leave them. And
there were quite a few moments, weren't there, where Edwards and Anthony combining. He looks really promising that on the counter attack, and then just too often the final ball just letting it down. But signs of life there as well.
They link quite nicely, don't they? You see, you've got that added diligence to Anthony's game. You can see the confidence from his last couple of outings, and I say we could have scored before the equaliser when Kanate nearly put through his own goal. I mean, I'm a big fan of Edwards. He's got to pick a better pass out there for Anthony to equalise in the first place. But again, it just draws the question: why has he not been started until just before Christmas? He's a little magic man. Yeah. He's the Burnley player of this current group of players that gets me off my seat. That really, I think when it drops to him, I think he's capable of producing magic, and it's just a crime he's not been in the side for the majority of the season.
Those two lads in the centre of midfield, I think, were worthy of a mention. I mean, if nothing else, for the sheer work rate that Ugo Chukwu and Florentino put in. Florentino, he's beautiful through ball for Edwards. To be fair, his passing was a bit off at times in that game, wasn't it? But he's worked his socks off, and we really saw that sort of octopus side of him in the second half, didn't we? He made a lot of challenges there, but the shape seemed to work, and I always think we do, even though it feels negative, we do look better and more organised when we play three centre-halves and two full-backs pushed on a little bit.
Yeah, I thought Lucas was terrific as well, both in his defensive work and getting forward. As you mentioned, I say Florentino's a Champions League performer. He's not overawed by this sort of occasion. So you say he breaks things up. He could have used the ball better on occasion, but his pass is divine for the equaliser. Yeah, as I've said, he's unlucky for the penalty. Ugo Chukwu again. They're up against. I think it was Leon Osman saying in commentary, that Burnley are happy for Liverpool. They're just, taking pot shots from 30, 35 yards, and Szoboszlai can hurt you. But our two are up against sort of more workmanlike players in the Liverpool midfield. There's not a magician in there that's going to carve you open. Gravenberch is a lovely technical footballer, but are they going to play through you, give and go, a bit of magic to, someone drops a shoulder and beats you? Wirtz has got a bit, but, we've snuffed him out relatively well for the duration. So, but I say all told, it's just really encouraging again, but then you come away and you see that West Ham have nicked a last-minute winner against the flakiest team in Premier League history. And Leeds, again, have battled to the death and got a win.
Yeah, results not going in our favour at all. And looking at the league table, we are still, I think, 7 points away from Nottingham Forest, which would be in the last position of safety. I'll just double check that, but yeah, that's right. We're on 14 points. Forest in 17th on 21, Leeds on 25, Bournemouth 26, Spurs 27. But we'd all sort of started to feel this season, relegation was inevitable. Those results do suggest, so Manchester United drew with us 2-2, then have beaten Manchester City. Liverpool, who we nearly got a result against, seconds away from a result against at home, we've gone and drawn with them fully deservedly at Anfield. We've got games coming up against a Spurs side now who are a right mess. I mean, they could well be sacking their manager this week and in chaos again. And then after that, we've got Sunderland away on deadline day, which is a weird one, isn't it? But, I mean, I just feel, looking at it, Chris, this is a huge message to Alan Pace and the board to say, we're not that far away. No. Go and give Scott Parker some backing now, and let's see if we can't save this season.
The sort of messages that have come out of Turf Moor over the last few days seem to indicate that they haven't given up in the boardroom, in the dugout, in the dressing room. That they are going to have a go and try and see what they can bring in January. I don't know what the war chest looks like, but again, it looks like Sargent's got his heart set on Toronto. Wilson might have been at one, but he's gone and scored for a club that don't seem to want him. Saudi Arabia, Celtic seems to be his destination. But we could do with a goal scorer of that ilk, and just take our wide players are the ones delivering the goals at present. But I say we're not a million miles away, are we? Maybe a bit of cover in midfield, maybe an extra centre half, but. Just try and push the boat out. They did well 2 years ago in the loan business, and maybe that's the avenue we have to go down. Maybe it's a league that we're not familiar with. Like I don't know, use the Dutch league again. Use the Portuguese league, but find someone, just someone that we've not really heard of, but might just be able to offer us something.
Yeah, I mean, I think that performance today, for all the positives, and it was an extremely positive day in terms of, the spirit, the determination, the organisation, the defending was solid. We've we've not given them clear-cut chances. I mean, as you mentioned, Dubravka has made a lot of saves, most of them routine ones. I think there was one in the first half where you could say he was really at full stretch and was an excellent save. But most of the time, we've frustrated Liverpool. The one missing ingredient, and I know it's not easy for a striker playing at Anfield when we're defending. So I'm not picking on Breuer at all for that performance. But you just think if we had a really dangerous centre forward who would worry the back line, then those counter attacks have got a different dynamic to them, haven't they?
Yeah, but I thought he did all right, bro. You're considering the lack of service. He's grafted. He's put himself about. He's made it stick on occasion, and he's. I thought he linked quite well with Edwards as well. So it's. I'd say, are we fizzing balls across goal for him to get after? Not really. Are we hanging the ball up for him to go and attack? Not really. So I think he's giving what he can at the moment, but. It's just, again, we've brought on late in the game. We brought Chowner on, who's, I thought he did ever so well last week. Again, albeit against second string Millwall, but at least we're making changes to try and affect the game in forward areas late on, bringing Foster on and things like that, and rather than trying to play for the corner flag, we were just waiting for that little situation to develop where we could try and mount a bit of pressure that we did that led to the equaliser again and try and nick one. And we could have nicked one at the death there, which would have been, a mind-blowing result for Burnley's season. But yeah, you can't not be lifted by that. That's why all Burnley fans will be walking out, walking around with their chest puffed out this weekend. And good to see the results in Suffolk, Sheffield and Wrexham as well.
Yeah, I mean, you could see that with Julian. He was buzzing after that at the end of that game in that little video at the start, wasn't it? Brilliant result, really encouraging, gives us a little bit of hope. And we just need to start stringing together that run of wins. That's what always saved us in the past. When you go and get 3 or 4 back-to-back wins, suddenly it can all change. But we just haven't been able to do that.
If we beat Tottenham, we'll put the fear of God up them because they're dropping like a stone, aren't they? All sorts of infighting. Fans seem to want Thomas Frank out. Kudus is injured. Richarlison, who seems to turn up twice a season, against Burnley home and away, he's out for a few weeks. So it's that's one you have to look at and say, listen, let's be really aggressive. Let's try and hurt this lot because they are flaky as they come. They are lily-livered.
They are indeed. Something to look forward to. We've got something to look forward to, something to hang on to now. So it's very encouraging, I think, for the fans. And I'm sure the players will be travelling back tonight with a lot of belief inside them that they can still put up a real fight this season. Thanks very much, Chris, for joining us. Thanks to Julian for that brilliant video from Anfield and the away end. And we'll be back tomorrow with a full debrief of that game. And until then, up the Clarets.